Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to Noonday Contemplative Prayer, Meditation, and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour. Usually I have the banner up there and I just read it, but I forgot to put the banner today. Life is so funny. Let me try that again. Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Cowart, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we've been gathering together every day for in this internet space to love and support each other through this pandemic. And I'm so grateful for being here and being able to just share with each other what we're going through, from our feelings and how it feels and what it feels like. And this is a safe place for us to be vulnerable, share our feelings, and love and inspire each other through this difficult time, because we have been through probably one of the most difficult times ever in the history of man, as far as I know of. I don't know of any time that's been through. I can't think of any. I'm a history buff, and I read a lot about history, but we've been through a brutal year. We've been through a brutal year, and we're not completely through yet. We've still got a little more to go, I'm afraid. And it's okay, because this is what life is. This is what life is. Life is learning how to navigate between two energy forces. There's the energy force of fear and negativity and what I call shadow and the ego. That's there. It's very real. And then there's the other side, another energy force of love and creativity and abundance. And we're always in a conflict. That's what life is. Life is that conflict, learning how to navigate through those two energy forces that are always going to be there. So I was reminded of Scott Peck's book, A Road Less Traveled, and it's taken on a whole new meaning to me now, as I've seen through my own shadow work, what that really means. I can't get this quite right, but I know at the beginning of his book, it's famous, it says, once life is difficult, life is challenging. And once we learn to love and accept the fact that life is challenging, it stops being challenging. That's one of a Buddhist belief system as well. And that's true. So what we do is, if we know life is challenging, and we know that we're going to come up with all kinds of fears in our lives, we can begin to say, okay, this is the way being human works. This is what it feels like to be a human being. This is the travel. This is the path of human expansion, is to navigate between these two sources of energy, the dark side and the light side. And we can see who's winning, right? Sometimes fear is winning in our lives, and sometimes love is winning in our lives. And I want to show you in a minute a little technique you can do when you find fear is sort of running the show, what you can do to get love back on the winning side, and put that love into compassionate action in the world. I mean, we've all seen in the last year what I would call where fear is winning. Fear is destructive. Fear is mean, it's cruel, it's destructive, it's very narcissistic. And we've just come out of 4 years of having a very mean, cruel, narcissistic leader of the country. And in his world, fear is winning. I mean, he got acquitted. Fear is winning. And he has a whole bunch of people who are living in his orbit that live in that same fear. I think Lindsey Graham came out and said it's all about winning. Well, winning what? What's he winning? Fear's winning. Destroying the country. Fear is destructive. So those of us that really have awakened up to a deeper truth within ourselves, which we're grateful for. I mean, some of those people they haven't quite woken up yet. Maybe they don't realize there is another way of living. That way of living is living in love and abundance. So I'm going to teach you a little bit how we can all do when we find ourselves where fear seems to be the winner, and how do we transform that fear and anger and frustration into love and compassionate action. I mean, there's great examples of where love wins in big financial influencers in the world, like Tony Robbins and Oprah Winfrey. I mean, there are people who have used their creative talents to make an enormous amount of money in the world for themselves and for others. That is moving into what I call the love side of it. You know, they have their fears too. I can promise you. I'm sure they do. But they have learned how to navigate, and they teach other people. That's what they do. That's what I do. We teach people how to navigate through those two energy forces. As a spiritual teacher and a prosperity coach, that's what I do. I teach people how to navigate through those two energy forces. They're not going to go away. It's part of the human condition. There's a value to them. Like I've said it before, shadow is, we need the shadow, we need the dark side in order to reflect our truth. But some people, they get lost in that shadow and they don't know there's a light side. So we have to love them. We have to shine the light on them. Again, we don't blame the darkness for being dark. It's just dark. It's its nature. It's uncomfortable and dangerous, but it's nature. Okay. Instead, we shine a light on it. So instead of blaming these people, just realize that they're in pain. I don't know what they're in. They're in pain and fear, and the only way they know is to create more pain and fear. And they're dangerous. Don't get it wrong. I mean, people died in that riot, in that mob that they brought to the Capitol, and people were hurt, physically hurt, and they're emotionally wounded. I mean, there was some damage done. It's destructive. Fear is destructive. So, as compassionate and enlightened beings that we can be, we are, then we can begin to begin to quit living in that world of fear and destruction and shadow, behaving out of shadow, and we begin to live in a place of love and compassion, living in the light. And it's a lot more fun to live in the light, a lot more fulfilling, and I'd much rather. And then look at the leaders we currently have. We now have leaders who are leading from love. They have their own fears too, but they have learned to leave. They're leading from love. They're leading from compassion. They're leading from truth. They're leading from empathy and competency. And we feel better because we got leaders that we know care about us. They're not leading from their own narcissistic needs for power. And I mean, when Lindsey Graham said it's all about winning, I thought, yeah, well, what are you winning? You're going to destroy the country to win all for yourself? You're winning your position, what you think is powerful, so you can make a lot of money. What a very narcissistic and painful way to live your life, man. I just think it must be horrible. I can't think of anything worse than to live in Lindsey Graham's shoes. I've lived there, actually, not quite to that extent, but I've certainly lived in places where fear was the one running my life, and it was pretty uncomfortable. So I much prefer getting back on the side of love and compassion and empathy. So let me share my screen with you. Hold on one second here, and I'm going to show you a little something here. I'm going to make it even bigger. I'm going to get rid of some of these banners, and I'm going to teach you a little 5-step process that I've been using for myself, and I reduced it down to something called FAITH, the acronym of FAITH. And faith is the bird that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. And I love this, by the way. It works. It's a simple 5-step transformational process to shift from fear to love. So when we find ourselves in anger and in frustration with what's going on in the world, that's just a representation of the conflict we've got going on inside ourselves. So what I'm hoping for us and what works for me is to show you a way that you can take that fear that you're feeling and the frustration and the anger and the shame, what all these negative emotions are about, and a simple process that you can use Anytime throughout your day, I use it. I do it all the time. It's basically it's really an expanded. It's an expansion. It's a not an expansion. It's an abbreviation of what we do in contemplative prayer. If you'll notice when we pray in a few minutes, when I take you through into the meditation and the contemplative prayer, it's the same thing in some ways. But this is something you can do right on the spot to sort of bounce you out of, so you can get your job done. I mean, if you're a business person and you're trying to do your job and trying to bring your contribution to the world that day and add value, then and be creative. When you're feeling fear and anger and frustration, it's really hard to get those creative juices to flow, right? So here's something you can do is take a quick break, take a walk, and then sit down and just practice this simple exercise. And I have a lot of all my clients have this, and I would suggest you can download a copy of it. You can download it in one of my Facebook groups. It's in the filing cabinet at the Financial Mystic Sanctuary. I'm going to put it into the new Facebook group, Financial Heart Space for gay, bi, trans, and bisexual men. If I can figure out how to do that, I couldn't figure out the other day how to load files into it, but I'm learning. I'm slow on those kind of things, but bear with me. But needless to say, if you want a copy of it and if you can't find it, you can send me a direct message and I'll be glad to send it to you. How about that? Just if you want a copy of this, just send me a direct message, a DM, and say, I'd like a copy of that faith document you showed me during the live broadcast on Thursday. And I'd be more than happy to show it to you. Okay, so enough of me talking about it. Let's get to it. First, let me get rid of some of these banners here. If you're here joining me please say hello, and let me just see. Let me get rid of that too. I don't need that up there. All righty. So I hope everybody can see that. And faith. Faith is the bird that feels the light when the dawn is too dark. Faith is when you know you're in the darkness, but there's something brighter on the other side. When we're in so much fear and anger, but deep within us, there's a yearning for something brighter and that's what faith is. Faith is knowing, a deep yearning, even if everything looks so dark and dismal and horrible, that we know deep within our hearts that there's something bright for us. So let's start with the first letter, F. Feel it and flow with it. When you feel fear, when you feel the anger, when you feel the shame, when you feel the sadness, or whatever those uncomfortable feelings are, our natural reaction is to want to push them away. You know, I'm busy with work right now. I don't have time to feel angry. I don't have time to feel shame. It takes me off. It pulls me out of my game. It takes me out of my creative flow, really. So go away. I don't want you right now. But guess what? It's there. I don't know why. We don't know why it showed up yet, but it's there, and it's there for a reason. Okay. So if you begin to say, well, it's here, it's presented itself right now. It's like Rumi says in that wonderful poem of his, The Guest House, greet it at the door and welcome it in with loving arms. So my suggestion is whatever is coming in, whatever you're feeling, whatever that dark feeling is, feel it. Really feel it. Feel it down to into your bones. Because when you fully feel it with your mind, your body, and your spirit, something transformational will occur. There's where the magic is. There's magic in that. There's just transformational magic, if you will, in our emotions when we can feel it and flow with it. And then the A is for acceptance. Fully accepting what is present in the moment will allow your heart, your body, and mind to connect to the moment and align with your higher, more efficient operating system, the operating system of the heart. we begin to feel our way home. That yearning, that place of yearning is a real yearning to come to love, to come to that deep, and I'm not talking about romance, I'm talking about that deep yearning for the connection with the divine. So when we begin to accept our feelings in the moment, when we actually begin to feel them, accept them, embrace them, that's when all of a sudden things begin to shift. You'll just notice it. Then from that place of no longer sort of fearing it, but accepting it, you're gonna ask that emotion, what are you trying to tell me? You're gonna do an inquiry. Our emotions connect to our thoughts and our beliefs of the past. So if we're feeling something negative out of the blue, it is because something in our past has been triggered and is coming into the present. So the value is okay. So then you say, well, what is it you're trying to tell? What is this fear saying about me that making me feel so much shame? It's usually saying something. It's like a personal attack. It's our shadow. It's really our shadow belief about ourselves. It's a false narrative we make up about who we are. Like it's usually something like I'm not good enough, or you're not smart enough, you're not creative enough, you're not cute enough. There's something that's lacking. That negative feeling is a result of an inner dialogue, an inner conflict within us that's telling us something is missing in our lives. It's not missing in our lives, but something is missing in us. It could be something missing. Maybe we're not making the money we feel like we should make. And then we got a dialogue, or we lost a sales, or something didn't happen. So we got an inner dialogue saying, "Well, you're stupid. You're not smart enough to make money. You don't really deserve it." Some narrative, some lie that's coming out of scarcity is happening. That's why we're feeling bad. That's why we're feeling negative. So once you do the inquiry and you kind of know what the false narrative is that's creating the negative feeling, you ask, is it true? Is it true that I'm unworthy? Is it true that I'm stupid and can't learn? Is it true that I'm not creative? No. We all have that creative genius within us. So then you state the truth with intention. Truth is freedom, and intention activates a purpose. Once we know the truth, we activate a purpose, and that moves us into action. Now we know, wait a minute, I am creative, I am brilliant, I am loving, I am worthy, I am actually pretty magnificent. I'm a miracle. I am the divine creation I am part of the divine creator of the universe. There is nothing I can do. I've now claimed my power, and now I've got a new intention to take this power out into the world. This is particularly true for us entrepreneurs. Take this power out into the world to make a contribution and to make a difference. Okay. So there you've reframed the whole situation now to something that's true and intentional and with purpose. Make sense? And then finally, H, heart space. This is where we ground it in. And one thing you might do is put your hand on your heart, because the heart is the center of all. Our heart is it's like a honing device. It is the center of all creation. You have the center of all creation. We all have the center of all creation within. It's that still point of unconditional love that unites and creates all things. That's the heart space. That's why I call my company Financial Heart Space. It's so that we can move money into the heart space to be a creator of all things, to be a creator of life. Because when we're expressing money and we're using money as an expression of love from the heart to make a difference in the world, everything changes. Because we're coming from abundance and we're coming from a truth. Yeah, so we put our hand on it, and we're grateful for that true source of power within us. And we kind of anchor that in, we breathe and open our heart fully, accepting the truth of I am. One of the most powerful words of wisdom within Scripture is the statement of I am. In all Scriptures, I am. I think there was some that said, I think, therefore I am. I would say no. I am, therefore I think. I am is first. So I'm telling you, you got it wrong. And that may be the problem with a lot of people. That ain't true. If I'm not I am, if I'm not here alive, then I ain't thinking. I mean, maybe thinking is proof that I am here, but I am here first. So it's not I think, therefore I am. I am, therefore I think is the better way of putting that word. So, as we hear in Scripture, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And that's what we say we're going to say that in our meditation in a second. So if you like, I tell you, I use this throughout my day because I get all of us. I mean, life, particularly as an entrepreneur, life is always the navigation between these two energies of fear and love. Fear and anger, love. And so when we need that sort of bounce off and get us back over into the love side. Or if we want to win, we want love to win. So, which one do you want to feed? Which one do you want to nurture? Do you want to nurture the love side and the light and the energy and make a difference in the world? Or do you want to nurture the fear side? People do both. It's your choice. That's the beauty of it. You get to choose. You get to choose. Do you want to be part of Senator Graham's winning strategy to win at all costs for himself? Or do you want to be part of a world of love where we win for everybody? I care about you. You care about me. I care about the world. Let's set up a win for the world, not just for me. That's a pretty lonely place to be, right? But we all get pulled in both directions. Okay, we both all get pulled in those directions. So I hope this was some helpful little technique. And again, if you like, you can simply download a copy of this in your. Like I say, if you want, just send me a direct message, and I'll be happy to send you a link, and you can download it right away because this is really helpful. It's really simple, and anybody can put it to use and make use out of it. So I hope that was some help to you today. Now, let's put it into action. Let's pray. Let me get the timer set here. And again, I always love it when people comment in the comment sections and say hello and say they're here and let me know they're here. It's great. Love having you here. So let me see here. I want to do a couple of things. I want to put a new banner up. So raise your arms up in the air. Sit up tall. Feel that life force, powerful life force in your body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Celebrate life. Wake up the body. And there's that bell. We're going to hear that bell about 4 times during the meditation. And that bell is a wake-up bell. It's a bell to wake us up out of our thinking and our planning and our plotting. And the invitation when you hear the bell, or maybe you find yourself thinking before the bell, you don't have to wait for the bell, is to just let it go. Just with intention, let that energy go and fall into the heart space. And a simple technique for this type of prayer and meditation and getting into silence is we want to quiet the mind, quiet the thinking. And when we think, the tongue vibrates. So one little simple technique, there's that bell. There's the bell. And you're going to hear it 3 more times during the meditation. And then here's one wakes up. To sort of slow down and soften the back of your tongue from vibration and thinking, take the tip of your tongue and gently rest it on the roof of your mouth just behind your 2 front teeth. And slightly part your lips and relax your jaw. And intentionally breathe over the back of your tongue and throat as you breathe to relax the tongue. Just try it a few times. Put your tongue up the top of your roof of your mouth and consciously begin to massage the back of your tongue with your breath. Now with your belly, the muscles in your belly, pull the breath deep inside your belly. Expand the belly even bigger and ground that deep within you. And then just slowly let it go. And notice all the space you've created inside. And just breathe for a moment. We're going to do 2 more of those. Remember, tip of the tongue on the back of on the roof of the mouth. Relax the back of your tongue and be still. Just taking one more slow, use your belly muscles to pull the breath deep into your belly. Expand the rib cage, expand the belly as big as you can. Make as much space as you can for love. And slowly let it out. And as you let it out, let go of every thought, every opinion, every judgment, all your stories. Just let it all go. Hold on to nothing. Now just breathe. Focus on your breathing for a moment. We're going to do one more deep breath in just a second. And then we're just going to breathe. We're just going to be still and breathe and empty our heads. So that's it. Just take your belly and use the muscles in your belly to pull the breath deep, deep, deep. Expand it. Really expand the belly out and the rib cage and open your heart. Oh, and just slowly let it all go. Now just breathe. There's that sweet bell to wake us up from our thinking, our planning. And the invitation is with a smile and gratitude, just let it go. Fall back into love. Wow, there's that sweet bell to wake us up from our thinking. So with gratitude, release the brain, release the mind from its duty for a few minutes and ask it to let go of all the thinking, all the planning, all the worrying, and fall back into that sweet cloud of I don't know. Oh, thank goodness for that sweet bell to wake us up from our thinking. Just let it go. Let the thoughts go. Let the planning go. Let the worry go. Hold on to nothing. And allow yourself energetically to fall more deeply into that sweet cloud of unknowing. There's our final bell. Congratulations, you just got through 20 minutes of meditation. The ideal amount of time. So allow yourself just to sit for a moment and be still. Anchor in that divine presence within. I call that divine presence Joy the Wise Woman. She's here and she's ready to go. She's got an afternoon of exciting things to do. Share a message in the world. I am her. Martin is her obedient and loving servant. And that's why I step into this space to move more closely into relationship with that divine spark. Because that's where my power is. That's where your power is. And that is the power to change the world. And that is the power to change the world. That's the only thing. So, you got something you want to comment on? Please comment. If you didn't hear, I notice I don't have a lot of people here today for live. That's okay. I often get more people here for the replay. All the same, you're welcome, please. But if you are watching the replay, please put some comments into the comment section, and I'll be happy to respond. Additionally, if you'd like a copy of this faith document, if your own, it's a PDF document. Just simply send me a direct message, and I'll be happy to put the link to it and give it back to you. It's that simple. I'd love to hear from you, and anytime that you want to expand on anything we talk about here in a direct conversation, let me know that too. I love conversations with people, one-on-one conversations. So just simply, so it's all good. It's all good. So thank you so much for being with me today. Either whether you're here live or you're here in the replay or just here with me in spirit. May not even know you're physically here, but you're here. We're all here. The whole world's here. Whether you're hearing me or not with your human ears, we're all hearing each other because we're all here together. Just one big energy moving through time. Not actually moving through space, there's no such thing as time. So it's just here in the moment. It's just all moving through energy, moving through the world, moving through space at the moment, in this moment. So much love to you all. May love and prosperity prevail.